Welcome to the Gangcast, aka the Games and Not Games podcast. I'm Jan Garcia, and joining me, as always, is Isaiah Smith.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good.
I see that I can't help, we're not joined here on the podcast or on the set, but your glass on the 3D printer has joined the apartment.
Yeah, I said on the last episode that you gave me shit for it, and rightfully so. It's been a minute. That's fine and fair. I spent all day yesterday finally putting it together. I was like, man, I really gotta get this done.
When the show was about to happen, I was looking at those boxes, like that Birdman gif of him rubbing his hands together. And I was like, I just can't wait. I was gonna add to the show. I was like, hello. Where is this glass case?
No, that's fair. It's it took a bit. I'm not gonna lie, it took like basically your entire stream. So like what, 3.5 hours or something like that?
3 to 4
for me
hours,
to like
basically
take all the screws out and put the chains together and plug in the new upgrade stuff. For a little bit of context, I have a 3D printer. I got the Bamboo Labs P1P, but then they later came out with the P1S, which is like basically the same thing, just like enclosed. So it's a little bit quieter, a little bit aesthetically nicer. And then they sold an upgrade kit for people who had my model for them to like basically upgrade their model to the new one. And I got that. And those boxes were just sitting around in our room for a very long time, admittedly so. But we have them, and I upgraded it, and now the boxes are gone, and Janet's happy. She walked in, and she like spun circles like in the Sound of Music in the middle of the room. It was really weird. Birds started chirping and everything, but I do what I can.
What do you think the first thing you're going to print with the new old 3D printer?
That's a really good question. Probably a little benchy, the little like tugboat looking thing.
Just to test it out.
It's kind of like the, I don't know, hello world of 3D printing. Yeah,
that's so interesting. Yeah. Do you think you're going to make another can holder after ours snapped in half?
Yeah, I 3D printed a pop can, soda can holder thing for the fridge that just like cleaned up our fridge a little bit, made it a little bit easier and nicer to stack things in it. It
lasted for a while.
It did.
Like a year
surprisingly,
or something.
It
was like two pieces like clipped together.
It was like 4 pieces clipped together. Just some of them I just hot glued so that like they wouldn't come apart, but that only got us so far. I'll see if I can find like maybe a better model or something.
People
that's,
went
like,
wild for when I posted about that on social media. They were like, "Oh, can you sell these?" I'm like, "These cost like 2 cents on Amazon. Like you don't need to be buying this from anybody."
Legit.
They want your artisan soda can. Well, which, mind you, too, you just, most of your, if not all of your 3D printing is still just based off of the Thingiverse, right?
There's Thingiverse. I think Bamboo Labs also has their own like site now where you can browse models for printing and stuff. But yeah, just all offline, like free things I find online that I think are cool. I'll print them, try them out.
But people want it because they don't want to have to spend 4 hours putting the door on the
No, that's fair. And I don't blame them
printer
anymore. Yeah. Man, if I could have just like Fiverred some guy to come by and put it together in like a half an hour. No, I guess it's fair, but I could have brought it to them then or something.
It's like when I there's like some comedian who was talking about his wife's like selling things on Facebook Marketplace, and he's like, so basically my wife is risking our lives to make like $30 out of Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, I got some things I need to sell right now, so
yeah, good luck. Another thing on the list.
Yeah, but speaking of things on our list, I saw you dove into the Delicious Dungeon. You said you watched like an episode or 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I think 2, maybe 3. I think I watched 2 episodes of Delicious Dungeon, or is it Delicious in Dungeon?
Dungeons in Deliciousness or something.
I'm
it's
looking
like on
right
Netflix.
now to see what Netflix calls it.
I think it's
Delicious in Dungeon.
Oh, okay. I guess I always just
to me this is Delicious Dungeon. I'm renaming it now. We're calling this Delicious Dungeon. We're not Delicious in Dungeon. That's maybe more accurate, I guess, to the original name of the show. It is. It's solid. I don't think it's anything that everyone's got to run out and watch this now. But especially coming from a video game background and coming from a emerging like a D&D baby background, where it's like, my experience with D&D is the tiny bit of Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion that we've played. We've played like one scenario or something, but we've watched like 2 hours worth of people explaining how to play the scenarios, and that has to count for something. I'm counting that as part of our time.
Very legit.
We have played a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3 together.
Yep. Great game.
And we watched my peers, colleagues, friends, however you want to couch it, at MinMax, their D&D one shot. Yeah, and you watch a bunch of D&D. So obviously you got your own like history, but that's my personal D&D history. It's like one part of one game, another part of another game, and then someone that I know that I talk to about games doing a D&D thing. But yeah, it feels it's funny how all this stuff is like the same stuff, you know, like we're playing D&D like via like Gloomhaven. I'm like, oh, this is like an analog video game. And then playing Baldur's Gate, it's like D&D nerds will be like, that's just video game Baldur's, that's just video game D&D. And I'm like, oh, this is what a cool game. And I'm like, okay, this is, so all the parts are connecting out of order for me a little bit. But Delicious in Dungeon feels kind of like that, because it's a lot of like, you're going into these dungeon, you know, it's like, oh, it's a dungeon crawler essentially, which is a very, you know, classic game genre, classic like D&D scenario. And then they're like, hey, we're broke, so like, let's stop spending money on food and just eat the monsters that are in there. And then they're like a little party, and they're very much like explicitly like, this is our party. So-and-so is joining our party. We're hiring people for our party. So it's very like game, whether it's board game or video game, it's very gamey.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was like cooks who went dungeon diving. Like, I didn't know the concept is we're running low on money. Let's cook these monsters. Let's like Zelda this up right now and take some monster parts and mix them into things, but not get like gross pixelated food at the end. Yeah,
and you know, spoilers for the first 2 episodes, like they very early on meet a guy who is a chef, and he's like, oh, I've been eating these monsters for years. Like I love eating monsters, and I know all the ins and outs of the culinary arts of the monsters. And everyone in the party has like a role. There's like a mage, there's like, I forgot what the other guy is, and then there's like a guy that's like he specializes in traps. I forgot if there's a name for like that class of character, but that's his specialty. And then there's like the cook. So then they're also like kind of combining their skills, where they like, one of the scenarios in I think episode 2 is they're in a kind of like a maze, and there's like all these different traps, and like one of them is like a bunch of oil, and the chef guy's like, I want us to take that oil, like trigger the trap on purpose, and we're gonna deep fry some of this food. And they're like, no, like, I don't think we should be doing that. Like, this is supposed to be avoiding it. And he's like, no, it's gonna be really good. And they're kind of like working together. And, you know, they're all going on like this quest to like do, you know, again, I don't want to give away the entire like plot line. It's not like it's that surprising, because it comes out pretty early where they're like trying to save one of their party members. So they have to go back in. And there's like, you can kind of die, but if it's like, it seems like death it's kind of like a video gamey death where you're fine, but maybe there's like a way that you can be like permanently killed. That's sort of the implication of the setup of the adventuring. And then you'll meet and there's like a bunch of wild monsters. So then it also kind of is evocative, you know, just kind of pulling on things that people might already know, like Pokemon. Like when you watch Pokemon, the TV show, it's, you know, they're adventuring, and then they're like, this is so-and-so. So-and-so has this stuff. It's kind of like that. They don't have like a scanner or anything, but you'll encounter like a new to the viewer monster. And they're like, one of them is like a chicken that has like a snake on the other side of it or something. And then they're like talking about how it functions, how you can kill it. And then there's also like the culinary aspect of these monsters. So yeah, it's like a fun, it is like a chill, fun time, but I don't think this is like, you know, I wouldn't put it in that the high arts of the, you know, of stuff that'll flip like a non-believer necessarily. But I think if you're, you know, down to watch like a fun little story, like it's fulfilling that, but it's not like it's a banger. Like I don't like this as much as I liked Attack on Titan, even though Attack on Titan did start annoying me after. I just didn't want to hear about the politics inside of the city. I know, maybe that makes me ignorant. I'm like losing I'm like, I want to see people square up. You know, I'm trying to see stuff go down.
I mean, that is what the show does best. So.
Y'all are trying to talk. I'm trying to fight. And, you know, obviously there's fun mystery to Attack on Titan too. But yeah, this isn't quite at that level where I'm like, oh my God, so good. At least this early on. I think it'll probably continue to be enjoyable as it goes, but it's like a fun little adventure, and I like food, so yeah, I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, you'll have to once you watch more of it, you'll have to let me know if it's like an Isaiah show.
We'll have to make it a whole little. Yeah, and I think it's an easy one to like casually like which I feel like anime is good at this, where sort of like when I talked about my history with anime and watching Dragon Ball Z for the first time and just jumping in, I feel like it's very much like a show that you'll probably end up watching an episode with me when I'm watching it like in our room or something. But yeah, it was nice to watch something that wasn't just like the stuff I normally watch, like, you know, on my list on Netflix right now I'm looking at, it says like Dancing for the Devil, the 7 million TikTok goal, The Man with 1,000 Kids. Like, these are the things that I'm like squaring up to watch.
How'd you manage to carve out the perfect like trash TV on Netflix?
Yeah, they're like, hey, I found some sicko shit that we think you'll like, and all like a new documentary will drop, and you'll read the description, and it's like some really twisted like triggering event, and Netflix is like 93% match.
Yes.
Like, it's really kind of messed up.
No, that's fair.
I don't know I'm curious now what they gave me for. I don't think I can see what my match is offhand on Delicious in Dungeon, but yeah, that's what I'm getting into. But speaking of getting into things, let's get into our main topics. Again, it's always games and not games. So starting with the game section, in episode 1, we talked about how you are playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Mm-hmm. And I have been dying to ask you if you feel sweet in this game. This is what everything's been building to.
Yeah.
And that kind of got us into, you know, when I was talking to you about wanting to know that, that's kind of how we came up with this topic for today, which is how do we categorize, rate games, and ultimately pick what we play? Mm-hmm. So we're going to start with you on the sweet question, but also, what is sweet? How does this come to be? Because I remember one day you telling me this, and I'm like, I don't know what you mean by this.
Yeah. So I'm someone who I enjoy a good fantasy in games, right? Where the you get off your 9-to-5 job or whatever job you're working, you get home, it's late at night, you're tired, you've been dealing with people all day, and you just want to like zone out, right? You just want to escape it all. You jump into a video game, and nothing to me feels better than jumping into a video game and feeling like a badass, right? Like that's what I mean by feeling sweet. Like, is your player, your character, someone who just like can topple obstacles put in their way? Maybe there's a challenge, right? I'm not saying they're, Superman out here and, nothing, they just bat an eye and then all the bad guys fall down. No, but like, is it like when they do things, is it sweet? Does it look cool? Do they give a aura, as I think the youths say, right? Do they have aura where it's just like, this guy cool, this guy fucks, like, all right, he's sweet? Or like, and it's also not like gender specific, right? Like you could have sweet female characters. I play most of my games when given an option as a female character because I feel like that's just sweeter. Like if my character is gonna be strong regardless, give me a strong woman. Yeah, that's just more badass to me. So like that just adds to the sweetness. Energy. Yeah, like that's sweet. Like it just being sweet. Somebody with swords, sweet. Arrows, sweet. Guns, you can't be sweet because of a gun, but you can be sweet. Someone who has a gun can be sweet, but like inherently just having a gun isn't sweet. It's what you do outside of the gun that's sweet. And it's just like, it's a whole science to it, you know? It's a vibe.
Okay.
So to answer your question, playing Final Fantasy Rebirth, do I feel sweet? I'm going to say more yes than no. That's for sure. Cloud, I think, the thing I don't like about the game so far is that they're really drip feeding you new weapons, and like the weapons is how you get the new abilities. Like you have to like learn to become proficient with it, master the proficiency or whatever. And so like I feel sweet, but I feel sweet fighting these like little rats or like these like big ass chickens or like whatever it is. And it's like, well, I mean, I don't know, put me up more against some robots or like some of the people in the tuxedos. I want to feel sweet fighting something sweet. Like you can't feel sweet fighting a turnip that just like yells and screams at you. Like that's
maybe
not
Delicious
sweet.
in Dungeon isn't going to be free. They're fighting mushrooms to chop for their soup and stuff.
So I feel like there's definitely potential to feel sweet, but where I'm at in the game so far, which is I think like what, chapter 4 now. Just spoiler warning, I went through a cave and then I got to the other side of the cave and now there's like a whole new sort of like area that I'm in. A whole new, I didn't want to say that. A whole new like sort of land that you're in. And so I'm there and I'm, fighting people and doing things, doing chores. I'm taking a dog to his new owner and all this other.
Yeah. How many hours are you in? Do you know?
I don't know. I should have checked the last time I played, but if I had to guess, like 18-ish.
When I was where you were, I was 27 hours in.
Really? Yeah. Oh man, that's a long.
Does it scare you that you're on chapter 4? I'm on chapter 10.
It's insane to me because I also think you're you're like higher level. Too.
Oh yeah.
Significant like
number
30s,
go up, yeah.
40s, something like that.
I don't really remember. I gotta be honest.
I feel like I'm like mid
65 hours in.
That's insane. I'm like mid-level 20s. Like everyone's like 25, 26. And I feel I like looked over at you playing and I was like, how is she like twice my level in 6 chapters? It doesn't make any sense.
I just kept running around. I ran around for a really long time.
Yeah. So
when you fight the bosses, do you feel sweet? Or slash the bigger enemies?
Yeah. Like, without getting too much into spoilers, there was like a boss you fight at this land that I'm in when you meet like a character.
Yeah. I enjoyed that boss a lot.
That felt sweet. That was cool. Anytime you're doing like the battle VR simulator and stuff, I always feel sweet in those.
The simulator's very good.
Yeah, so here you go, simulator. I always feel sweet in those. It's like, all right, here's like one big enemy, or like
I guess I only feel sweet when they're like the bigger enemy, because like to your point, some of the battle simulator is like fight these 2 rats.
Oh yeah, no, those are
as like Aerith, to learn how Aerith spins. It's like, all right. Though that stuff's useful, but
I don't know if you call them. I don't know if you would consider them bosses, but like it seems like each land is gonna have like, as a part of a mission, like the sort of like final step in a mission, you go somewhere and you like summon a special enemy to fight. Like this one was the Mind Flayer, was like an example of one that I felt sweet.
The Mind Flayer was really cool.
That was super. That was a tough fight, but it was fucking sweet.
Yeah, I think when the combat kicks up, it's really it's really up there. So. You tentatively feel sweet. That doesn't sound that sweet to me. I don't know.
I mean, there are moments I want to feel more sweet. Like I want to feel sweet more often. Rather,
yeah.
When I feel sweet, I feel sweet. But it's so few and far between that it's like, man, Cloud's supposed to be this badass. He's this like ex-soldier dude. Like it's supposed to be like the creme de la creme of fighters. And I'm over here doing chores. I'm picking flowers and making crown hats. Like,
which sounds awesome, but it's actually not as awesome as it is. As it sounds. Not. Because I love doing that kind of stuff, but. Yeah, I look across the aisle at you and I'm like, he has to walk his own path. I can't, don't save him. He don't want to be saved. I'm letting you get to. I'm scared you're gonna lap me and beat the game before me.
I hope so.
Why do you hope so?
You finished the book before me. You lapped me with a book. I gotta pay you back now.
I think if you beat this game before me, I'm gonna start crying. Like I can't handle the psychological damage of you beating this game before me, because I want to be on the other side where the people are. Oh my gosh. And then you also have the Isaiah scale. Yeah.
So, everyone, there's all types of scales on the internet, right? From Michelin star restaurants to Rotten Tomatoes to just 4-star, 5-star hotels and all that jazz. I have my own scale. I call it the Isaiah scale. I think it is subjectively the best scale ever because it just gets right to the point. It's a asymmetrical 4-point scale. So a 1 out of 4 is you dislike it. You actively dislike it. Like you did not like it, whether you hated it or you just barely didn't like it or you weren't interested. Doesn't matter. It's all the same. It's all negative. You don't need to go, to me, in the Isaiah scale, you don't need to go into varying degrees of bad. It's just bad. Like you just didn't like it. There's a 2, which is neutral, where it's like take it or leave it. You wouldn't seek it out again, but if someone presented it to you, you wouldn't turn it away, right? That's generally the consensus, that vibe. There's a 3, which is you like it. So like you actively enjoyed it. You thought it was good. You thought it executed what it did well, whatever it may be, right? It was a positive outlook. And then there's the 4, which is you love it. So there's, 2 positive sort of numbers on this scale. And the love it is exactly that. You love it. It's like it's good, but it's exceptionally good. Yeah. It's like it is the creme de la creme of whatever, right? It's like a 4 out of 4. Like you bangs with it. You ride for it. You stand. And to me, this simplifies so many different things because it's like, I don't know how, if something's good, I think we can all we've all experienced either a game or a meal or something that's good, but it's not like banger. Mm-hmm. And that is really the only distinguishing factor you need to me in a positive format where it's like, oh, it's good, but it's not a banger. How many times do we say that? We say that all the time. This scale gives you that. If something's like, it's so-so, it gives you that. And if it's bad, it gives you that. And that's just where you need to be. I suggest people try it out. Before you hate it, try it out for a week. Let me know how you feel. And then get in the comments and let me know.
I do like it for the... I mean, it's kind of similar to what a lot of surveys do, where it's like the strongly disagree. I think the only difference is you don't have like extra on the disagree. You kind of just have like a bad, okay, good banger kind of scale. So it kind of favors the top end, which, to your point, I do think we don't need a lot of nuance at the bottom. Like if you have it, that's fine. Like that's kind of what a 10-point scale tends to allow for. But we end up spending a lot of time talking about when something's really bad, like, is it a 4 or is it a 2? And it's like, who really cares at that point? You're not going to play it. You're not going to recommend it. You're not going to want to eat there again. Where do you think Rebirth is at this, like today? Where's Rebirth?
Oh, right now it's a 3. It's a strong 3 too.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I think it's so much better than the first one. But again,
on the Isaiah scale, I would agree with that. Like if I had to rate, I don't rate on the Isaiah scale very often.
No, you don't.
Because you never ask me to. You should start asking on the Isaiah scale. Where do I put stuff?
All right.
I can put some things on there.
I can do that.
Yeah. I enjoyed the scale. I do think it's funny. To me, it's just funny that you call it the Isaiah scale. Like that just because
where else have you seen?
It's a modified
other
a lot
scale.
of places, but it's just funny to think of like this is the Isaiah scale of ranking things, and I've liked using that as a shorthand and be like, where do you rate this on the Isaiah scale? And you know what I'm asking you, and you give me your little answer, and it's like, right to the point.
Yeah. Well, speaking of scales, what scale do you have? I know is there a Janet scale? You have Pen and Pixels. You kind of just conform to that, and that's how you go about your thought process when you're thinking of things.
It's funny because when we were talking about this before we like sat down to record, I'm like, I don't really need to get into the Pen and Pixels. It just feels like I'm marketing the website again, which like, I mean, read the website though for sure, but like
penandpixels.com.
Honestly, the more I was thinking about it, the more so often when I'm podcasting with other people, I do end up going back to my own scale. I just don't refer to it as like my pen to pixel scale. Like, it's a 5-point scale. A lot of people have a 5-point scale, and it functions pretty similar to, I think, what a lot of other 5-point scales are. There's bad at a 1, okay at a 2, good at a 3, great at a 4. And I think 5 is incredible. I might be butchering my own language on it because I don't remember if I wrote incredible or something different. And it is also similar to the Isaiah scale. It like favors the high end. If something's bad, it's just bad. We don't. How bad is it? It don't matter. You shouldn't play it. You shouldn't spend time with it. It's bad. It's bad at what it does. I had a bad time. I had bad thoughts. Like it's just bad. Okay, it's like it's okay. Like it's fine. Good. Now we're getting into the pot. Yeah, this is good. And like for me, good's always really interesting. On a 10-point scale, a lot of people put 7 as good. And then people get mad. They're like, oh, this is barely, it's good, but like, it wasn't that good. It's like, because to me, 3 on my scale, 7 on 10 scale, it is the worst good you can be, which sounds like really weird to say, but it's like, you barely made it.
Yeah.
And maybe you strongly made it because, that's where people have decimal sometimes, but it's like, oh, like if you were better, you would have been great, but you're not great. Like you're the lowest good you can be. And that's why it often can be a little bit more of a mixed bag, where there's games that I really enjoy, but they're not necessarily, it's like, it's not really that good, because if it was that good, I would have said it was great. And I didn't because it wasn't great. And then incredible for me, I'm saving that. That's like my, pantheon of greatest games ever. Like I don't even, have I given anything?
Reviewed? I was going to say, do you know if you've reviewed and given something an incredible 5?
Yeah. Prince of Persia. First one. Yeah. That game is so good.
Yeah. Did that come out this year?
Yeah, this year.
Oh my God.
It's the first 5 out of 5 I gave. Which if I reviewed more games, like I probably like I've played 5 out of 5 games since starting the website. But in terms of me actually sitting down to do a review, that's the only one I have. And I feel very strong about that. That is such to me, that is such an incredible game. Yeah, that's if I reviewed Balatro might be, a 5 out of 5. It's like I'm kind of saving that for all-time bangers. Like when you think of list for a platform, list for a year, like these games are going to be in those conversations. Like they are that high up there. And that's my general scale. And when I talk about games a lot, I do think about, oh, it's okay, or like, oh, it's good. I like to go back to the phrase I'm always using, which is not related to my scale, is it's the 7 out of 10 that I like a 10 out of 10. Because I feel like there are
Huber, right?
No, that's his thing. Swimming in sevens.
Oh, okay.
My thing is 7 out of 10 that you like a 10 out of 10, and you can use it for any other scale. You could say a 3 out of 5 that I like a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
That's like one of my things for if there's a game like that. And I'm trying to think of if they like a game like that, like Solar Ash is a game like that where it's probably technically a good game, sort of barely a good game. Like it's not that interesting, but I love that game. I have so much fun playing that game. I've been chipping away at that game for like 4 years. That game's awesome. I love that game. But that's just me. Yeah. So that's also, I guess I have my own things too, where like, because I'm a critic, I can evaluate the quality of the game versus like how much I like the game. Sometimes they're the same, but there's games that like I love to pieces that are not masterpiece games. Yeah. And then I guess getting into like, how do we pick what we're playing and like, what do we get into? For me, I have work games / hot in the street games. And this is where I think I, can make it in a slightly more relatable context. Cause obviously not everyone is doing video game content for their job. Like that's a very unique mindset. But I think a lot of players can probably relate to wanting to keep up with what's hot. Especially if you are someone that likes to, read the magazines or watch the reviews or like listen to podcasts. Like even before I got into this industry, I enjoyed playing like the year's hottest games, like the game everyone's talking about. So usually I'm chasing that. And then I have like fun games or like retro zag games where for me, a fun game, it's not just a game I'm playing for fun. It's a game that I'm playing for fun that I feel like has no relevance that no one cares to hear about. It's like not, it's like if I
What's
played
something recently that you would fall into that camp?
I haven't been having a lot of fun lately. I'm being real. Let's see. Oh man, I'm trying to think of maybe if I have something logged in there. What am I playing for fun? I'm probably playing nothing for fun right now. Let me see. The closest to fun that I would be pursuing, it's funny because this game did come out this year, but I know no one cares about it. It's one of those, it's good and who cares? Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble would be like a fun game. Okay. It's a good game. Like I think it's probably a good game if I had to like score it, but who cares? And I'm sorry the team that made the game. It's just so like inconsequential. It's conversationally uninteresting, and I don't think it's like a must-play game. But it's like I'm having fun with it, and it's not that relevant. I want to get into Sticky Business. Like I never played that. It came out like a year ago or something. Like that would be a for fun game. But too, like that's kind of why I throw retro in there. Like I love to go into the weeds and play something that's like older, and it can be like super retro, like like GBA kind of level, or it can be like modern retro, like. A few years ago, I started playing Fallout 3 for no reason or Fallout 4 for no reason. And I was tweeting about it and everyone's like, why are you like randomly playing this game? And like, that's when I know I'm like having some fun. When someone's like, why are you even playing this? That's what I want to be pursuing. Like,
that's funny.
I want to go play Spyro the Dragon again just to feel something, like that's.
Neens she just squealed.
Yeah.
Listening to this episode and you say that.
Friend of the show, Neens. Yeah, so that's another kind of bucket I have. But how do you chase, the juice? So like what does that look like for you?
Yeah, for me, and I have different methodologies for different media, right? Where for anime, I kind of see what's hot in the streets. If a new season of something just dropped, I'm more likely to try and give that a shot versus like a new movie is out. It's like, oh, maybe I'll wait until that just like I can run it at home on Apple TV or something. For games, it tends to be if it's like a new Isaiah game, which I guess we'll go into like what makes something an Isaiah game versus a Jenna game in a bit. But like if it's a new Isaiah game, I'm more likely to play it now. If it's something that someone recommends to me, either like you or Edwin or Arthur or like any of our friends, I'm more likely to try it when there's like a lull. And then when it's something that if it's something that I've just kind of been like eyeing, maybe it's been in my wish list for a bit, I'll generally wait until like a Steam summer sale or something, and I'll just buy a bunch of these games and get to them when I get to them, kind of thing. It's not very efficient because, as you know, that probably leads to a ever growing backlog of games you want to get to. So, but yeah, I do consider things like time, right? I'll usually look up like how long to beat for a game, and the general reviews or consensus for a game to see like where in the pecking order something might fall, whether I pick up like A over B. But besides that, you know me, it doesn't take me too long to beat games. I generally try to
I'm so jealous of that.
marathon them when I'm into something, especially if I'm enjoying it. Then it's like, all right, well, yeah, this is like my nights and weekends, like right here. So usually it doesn't take me too long to beat a game that I'm like into, and then from there I'll just like maybe give a break, have a little time away from games for a bit, maybe watch like a show or a movie or something, and then cyclically pick up a game again at some point and kind of go down this rabbit hole. It's a nice pendulum swing back and forth.
When you like step to a game, it's like a silence goes over the apartment. You know, I'm like, oh my God, he's here again. He's here to cook. So what is an Isaiah game to you?
Mostly like puzzly, thinky games. Big
We're very
puzzle
different
boy
people.
here. Yeah. I love me like this year. The only 4 I've given out this year on the Isaiah scale is to Animal Well.
Goddamn animals.
Animal Well, so good. It is like, it encompasses everything about an Isaiah game.
It is really good.
The platforming is a little tough at parts, but like outside of that, I am with it. They don't tell you anything, but they show you and let you figure out and explore and learn on your own. I think that's another reason why The Witness is like, if not, it's a top 3 of my favorite games of all time for the same reason. It's like it doesn't hold your hand. It holds your hand enough to like to make sure you know how to do a thing.
It holds your hand.
Yeah, no, fair. It holds my hand
holds
enough.
The smart people's hands enough.
Yeah.
And other people are just falling.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
Well, The Witness I haven't actually played, so I can't comment on The Witness.
The Witness is so good. It's so good. And then when you discover,
okay, be honest. Do you think I could even play The Witness? Like, be real.
Yeah, easily. I don't think you'll get like, I don't know, to the depth of the mountain or any of like the, level 2, level 3 deeper stuff. But I think you can definitely play the game. You'll get at least like, I don't know, 2 of the 4 or 5 lasers you need or something like that. And I think at that point you'll know like, okay, this is the game.
Okay.
Whether you want to keep doing that or not, I think you could at least learn enough to have an opinion.
I feel
on
traumatized
it.
just talking about the thought of playing that game.
Good. If you ever play it, please let me know. I will replay it with you.
Oh my God.
I will be right there with you on the couch. We can stream it. We can do whatever we want. I love that game.
You saw me stream. I played Dungeons of Hinterberg and Arranger yesterday, and they both have puzzles. Like Arranger is a puzzle game, and then Dungeons is a game that has puzzles. Like kind of how Zelda has puzzles. It's kind of the same vibe. And I feel like based on that alone, like it's so funny because like all of chat's like you're thinking too hard. I'm like, no, I'm not. like you're overthinking. No, I'm not. I'm not overthinking. Yeah. I've never overthought.
Well, I think for that reason, The Witness specifically would almost work for you because you said to yourself, like where you get is like you have an idea for how this puzzle is to be solved, and you latch onto that, and very quickly The Witness just. Like you'll have that idea for, panel 1 of like 5, but then when you get to panel 2 and that idea doesn't hold true, you just don't progress. And so like you have to like you
maybe
can't
it'll teach me how to.
You can't fumble your way with the wrong idea.
Maybe it'll teach me how to like break out of my own mind. The cage that I've built myself. I don't know. We'll see. I like puzzle games. I just am not good at them, so I like them in a different way.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you're a puzzle boy.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I enjoy a good strategy. Some other highlights.
That's just a puzzle wearing a hat.
I mean, not really. Like Marvel Midnight Suns. That was to me, that's not
Tactics.
A puzzle game, but it's like a strategy tactics game. Yeah. I love me, Inscription. Also a top 5 game for me where it's like, you gotta think. I like the thinkies,
you like to think,
the thinky games. But also I have fun with like Yakuza. I think that's also a just fun time. Give me a character, a lovable character, or a band of cast that they each have a personality that they fill in the role and blah blah blah. I'm with that too.
Yakuza is also very like anime coded.
That is true.
What's the least you game that you like? Where you're like, this doesn't really check my boxes, but I really like blah blah blah. Like, I mean, you played Animal Crossing, and I guess that's kind of an out of that.
But I really like Stardew. Person. Like to me, that's still you get that the like min maxing. Yeah, that's like kind of
strategy of like how do I get these apples?
No, legit, like a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
The Gardens Between. But even that's like
kind
puzzle-y.
It's a puzzle game. More, it's a chill puzzle game.
Yeah.
But, so maybe Sims are the most out there, but still kind of has
What Remains. That is a 4 out of 4 on the Isaiah scale, and that is not on paper an Isaiah game.
You like Gone Home too, right?
I like Gone Home's
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's a
you
2-3.
like I didn't have to go home if I, you know.
It's fine. I like it. It's just I don't need
You don't
to
like
ever
as much
replay
as-
it.
Well, yeah, I'm not. It's
Whereas
not.
I'll replay Edith Finch.
Okay, I'll give you that. Also, I think personally, I think Edith Finch is a better game
Oh,
than
yeah,
Gone
it is.
Home. But yeah, okay.
Both great games.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Play What Remains of Edith Finch.
So good. I love that game.
Stupid good.
For me, a me game. Okay, I
what's
see you.
Janet
I see
game?
you laughing already. Platformers. Love platformers. Favorite genre is probably still platformers.
Okay.
I like narrative games. I like. Oh, also just to get ahead of it, I play almost everything. The only thing I don't play is I think hardcore strategy, like military strategy and shooters. I don't play a lot of shooters. Those are, but I play everything else. But
You like shooters? You like Fortnite? You like Metro
I like some
Exodus? You
shooters,
like-
but I'm not like a shooter person. Like I
Okay.
don't have expertise in shooters. I can play a game that has shooting, but usually, you know, we think of like COD or something, or even like other. Yeah, those are kind of like outside my wheelhouse. But so that's that I like, because it's like most things are in my wheelhouse, but things that I like love, like my favorite stuff, it is platformers, it's narrative, action adventure, but it's so generic of a genre at this point. But I do play a lot of stuff like, you know, I love Horizon, and
It's a good game.
Zelda's kind of a weird, like
They're all different. Like
they're all
they
kinda different.
vary enough that
it's more adventure than action adventure. But I think as the series has progressed and like I think the modern iterations are a little bit more in that it's such a genre blend. Really, it's like action adventure, open world, sim. Like it's kind of got everything stuffed into it. But I like the act of, in terms of like that action adventure genre, I enjoy a combat loop that I like and gathering my little trinkets. I like to just collect my little things. And like in Zelda, you know, you can, you know, modern, like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, it's like, okay, you can get like fun little outfits. And then they also have like this mechanical category to them where, and then I can, you know, I put on my little earrings and the electricity can't hurt me. Yay. And I run around, you know, and it's fun. And in like Horizon, you know, it's something like a really souped up weapon. And that's cool because now it's even easier to keep doing the combat I'm already doing, or I'm chasing like a skill tree, and I like the act of fighting and getting the thing, and then I can, you know, make my little stuff, and I craft my little parts, and I put the parts on the other parts, and it's like a nice little space. Can go get my dyes, and I can make my pants blue, and I'm just like having a good time. Yeah, I think that's most of my core. Do you think I'm missing anything? Oh, cute. Also, I love cute, dumb stuff.
there's the classic cubes.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since I played cubes. I had an era where I was playing everything had cubes. Like I liked gosh, what was it?
It was like Box Squared or something like that.
Death Squared, I think.
Squared.
Yeah, Death Squared. I tried to get you to play Pode, which we played a little bit of that. I think one of them is a square and the other one's maybe a circle. But yeah, a Box Boy and Box Girl is also like the thing. Yeah, a good square. I like Patrick's Parabox too. He's a square.
Definitely a square. Yeah,
That's a great puzzle game.
Squares.
But again, it's cute. So it's like, okay, cool. And like Baba Is You puzzle game, cute. Baba's a little circle, with little legs. So I do enjoy cute stuff and like cozy games, I guess too. That's kind of an emerging genre it's been around forever, but I feel like people have really like labeled certain games as like cozy games or wholesome games. And I really love that stuff too. And I'm drawn to it, you know, at a glance. Sims, I think, I'm also very much getting into like simulation games. Cooking games I love. Like I love it's lemon cake, right? Yeah, okay. Where you're like have a little bakery and you're like running that.
But even like, you know, you jump off for Good Pizza, Great Pizza, which is a good game. That's a fun game.
Good Pizza, Great Pizza is so good. It's like stupid how good that game is. And they're still adding like supporting content to it. But they still have like the seasonal events. I just stopped playing because it was like too much of a commitment to keep like building out this pizza shop. And that game has such a fun loop of just chasing, like talk about chasing like a skill upgrade where it's like, then if I make a little bit more money, I can buy the automatic pizza cutter. And then the profits are going up. Like I am a businessman in that game. Like I am chasing those profit margins, and also like, or we can spend half of our budget on an iPad that has like antlers on it. Like I feel like that's gonna really spruce up the shop. Yeah, I think those are. So we have almost like not opposite lists, but like we don't have a lot of overlap in our lists, even though we play a lot of the same games.
I was gonna say like what makes an Isaiah game versus what makes a Janet game is not. That Venn diagram has a very small middle, but I feel like a lot of the games that we play fall into that middle.
I think both of us are also very open to stuff like outside of our number, because also it's stuff that we love versus like stuff we will play, if that makes sense. Like I'm down to play a lot of games that don't fit those buckets. Like most games are not platformers, but it's just like my favorite stuff is that. But yeah, and I think I like puzzle games would be like in that second tier for me. It's not that I dislike them, because I play a lot of puzzle games. It's just that I'm not like, oh my god, this is a puzzle game. That's totally like, people don't see a puzzle game and think, yeah, Janet's gonna love this. Like, actually, they just don't. Like, I play a lot of puzzle games and I like puzzle games a lot, but no one's ever been like, I saw this puzzle game and I thought of you. The closest they'll get is I saw this and I saw how like it was easy and I thought of you. They're like, I thought, who could handle this?
This
Someone
really makes
dumb.
me wonder how Zelda, was it Echoes of Wisdom, how that's gonna land in the house. Because like, to me, that seems like this is teed up to be a very custom-y, strategic-y kind of game. But it's also very cute, and it could just not be strategic at all.
I think too, there's usually, I don't know how many solutions they'll have in a game like that, because it does seem a little more linear than, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. But I think what works about like those games is there's so many solutions and so many directions you can go in. And in any direction you go in, you can do it. Like that's kind of like my beef with like Elden Ring, right? Where people are like, you're not good enough, just walk to the other side. I'm like, well, I'm not good enough there either. Like I'm not good enough anywhere. Like that, you don't understand. And they're like, yeah, but then I'm like, you don't, okay. We're just different. Like I think we're different people, and you're trying to tell me we're the same, and we're not. Like it's, I know Gilkey's whole thing in his book was like, you're not uniquely deficient. Yeah, well, yes I am. In this game I am. But with like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, like it is so like it's so vast that it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like when you get those projects in school where you can do different sections of the test, and it's like kind of however you want to do it. So I feel like I can still find stuff that I like and get. And I think too, games like Zelda, they do have like a mass appeal angle to them, where I think they'll never make them that hard is the thing, because they're kind of going for like a broader net than other titles are. Like, again, you think of something like The Witness. The Witness is like, I want all the smarties to the front line. Everybody else, go somewhere else. And it's not even that the game is trying to necessarily be antagonistic, but I think its design is very catered towards people that are interested in really thinking, and engaging with that. It's kind of like how, you can have tactics games that are more casual. Like Marvel's Midnight Suns is kind of in between. I think it's more hardcore than like a Mario plus Rabbids, but it's not, maybe some of these more high level ones. And it's like, it's kind of like in the scaling. So I think the scaling will be, I'm not too worried about figuring stuff out, but at the same time, Link's Awakening was like too hard for me. Like I couldn't understand, like, then you get the apple and the banana, and then you put the banana in like the owl's eye, and then the owl blinks at you, and that means you have to go somewhere else. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's fair.
Yeah. So we'll see how fetch questy I think it is, but yeah.
So is there any upcoming game that you are excited for because you do think it's a Janet game?
Oh, that to me game? Ooh, we're going to go to one place and one place only. My video game release calendar that I just updated. Stuff coming up that's me. I think, there's a lot of stuff coming up. I think Goodness You're Here, cute game, also kind of a little puzzly. That's gotten a lot of hype. Fields of Mystery is coming out or in early access. So disclosure, my friend Sarah works on that game, so whatever. I don't know how much I'll talk about. I'm definitely gonna play it though, because it's a me game. It's like a sim, And to your point, it is in that like Stardew vein. I don't know how much it's gonna be a you game, but
I'll give it a shot. Hell yeah.
Creatures of Ava. It's a cute game. You're like, I think you have like a bunch of magical. Why did you react that way? It is a unique creature saver game where you are out there. It's also like action adventure-y. Kind of like looks, we can put it in the video version of the trailer, but it's yeah, I don't know. You're like having a little adventure. Honestly, look wise, though, like I don't know if that game's gonna be good. Like it doesn't look like it feels good, but I like the ideas of it. Cat Quest 3 also coming out in August. So yeah, there's so many games. There's so many games. Christine Worth Heist 2 is coming out August 8th. That's cool. Yeah, there's almost
classic. Our boy, it's coming out this year. Astrobot.
Yeah. There's like a lot of games because again, I play most games. It's just that like when I look at this list, for instance, like games that I'm like looking forward to, but they're not like totally me. Like Visions of Mana. Like I previewed that and it was like fine, but it's not like completely a me game. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I like most games, and I think that's why I suffer. I live in a world of suffering because I'm actually down to play almost everything. So I don't get to skip a lot. Like, I was like asked like the other day, like in like another show, like, oh, what do you feel bad when you're like missing out on like that big game because it's like not a you game? No, I feel great. I love having an excuse not to play it. Like the fact that I don't play FromSoft games, I'm like, great. That saved me. We just got 80 hours back of our lives.
You're not wrong.
That I need to pour into Final Fantasy. But what about you? You got your eye on? I mean, we kind of talked about this already with the upcoming games from the other episode.
Go too far into it, but just like things that I'm hoping to finally get to that I think are me games. I think the next big one is probably going to be Yakuza. No, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Me too, yeah. Even though it already came out, but that's why I'm playing. I'm finishing Rebirth so I can hang out with our boy Ichiban.
Yep. I feel my stats going up.
Yeah, I'm playing those back to back is gonna be so interesting because you're like both open world.
Yep. And
games.
I'm doing a sandwich basically. I'm doing like a Yakuza sandwich.
That sounds delicious.
Ichiban sandwich, or I'm played Yakuza Like a Dragon, doing Rebirth, and coming back to Infinite Wealth soon after. So
so that's what's next on your list. I think too for me for games I want to get to. I mean, I just redid this too. Bullet journaled it out. I have so many games that I want to get to after, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so lost because I have to like knock out so many titles, but. I want to go back and play finish Haunty. I started that like a few weeks ago, and that was really fun. But yeah, there's so many games. Flock, want to finish that. That's a good time. You're not gonna save me. This show is not gonna be enough to. There's like so many games I'm playing at once, but a lot of them are shorter games that I'm like, okay, let me just knock some of these guys out while we're chipping away at the ice sculpture that's Final Fantasy, but I'm chipping away at it with like a toothpick. So it's taking forever to do, but
I feel like backlogs would be a good title or a good topic to go over in like a future episode.
Oh yeah, because I have talk about categorizing.
I
categorize the hell out of that backlog that I have.
That'd be
scary.
Really good. I said we do that. Add it to the list.
Nice. And this brings us to the not game section. We're going to be talking about things we've converted each other to and our holy grail, like habits, items, brands kind of thing, things that we feel are set in stone. But to get this started, I want to kick it off with what also kind of inspired this topic, right? You converting to the Church of the Oceans movies. Welcome to the congregation. Yeah. We always have, we welcome you with open arms and an open heart.
Good to be here. It feels like home. It feels like a warm blanket on a cold, stormy night. It's comforting. It's funny. It's inviting. It's everything you need.
It's quotable.
So quotable. Oh man, Julia Roberts. We
the Julia Roberts thing. Look, let's not ruin a good day and talk about Julia Roberts as Julia Roberts, which. No one's perfect, all right? Every religion has its issues, all right?
Hey, man. It's still a good movie.
But yeah, the Ocean's movies, heisty movies, series of films that I love. I don't know. You watch the Ocean's movies and you're like, I don't really need anything else. And I also think it was one of those things where, especially for us at our age, living sort of partially pre-internet. Like we got the internet like pretty early in our lives. Like I feel like I had like a home computer by like 7th or 8th grade to some degree. Yeah. It's like, okay, we're, but it wasn't really as big as it was. And of course, like things like streaming and stuff weren't as big. So, you only had so many pieces of art to interact with. And it's like, then you just go to those over and over again. So that's how Oceans kind of became part of my life. And then I feel like every time we go to a hotel and we go put on cable, one of the Ocean's movies is playing, and I'm like, this is a great time. And I'll watch any of the Ocean's movies at any part of the movie at any time. Yeah. And I don't know, does this just get like absorbed into you? Like how did this conversion happen?
Well, I always liked heist movies. Yeah. There are some that are still in my backlog, but I love a good murder mystery, a good heist, a good whodunit, a good I'm learning sort of with the characters in a way about
just watching them
figuring
do a puzzle,
out
really
something
is.
that happened. Yeah. So, when you, I think, originally told me about the Ocean's movie, I remember those being a thing growing up. Like, but I never watched them. And then at some point you were like, oh no, man, you gotta watch it. I think we even made like a weekend out of it kind of thing, where it's like, oh, we'll just like throw one on, and if you like it, then we'll watch the rest kind of thing. And yeah, no, they're fun. They're so fun. They're so good. They almost like inspired me to seek out more specifically heist movies. And then I even sort of gave back to you in the like Logan Lucky is like another good heist movie
was very good.
that like I was like, oh man, you like the Ocean's movies. You introduced me to the Ocean's movies. How have you not seen Logan Lucky? Like it's so good. And it has a similar formula of like you're following along. You don't know everything, but you know what some of the characters know only, and like the surprise is like also new to you at the end.
They even refer to Oceans in that movie, right?
I think they do something with like a Sinatra or something like that. Or no, I don't know.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. But yeah, no. First time watching the Ocean's movies, I think was after we moved to LA even. Like it was like, you know, me and you, your family, everyone's kind of like around in the living room, and like you threw it on. Immediately fell in love. They're fun movies. And the cast is also like stacked. Like it wasn't until I watched the movies that I was like, oh, there's like a lot of people in this movie that you see elsewhere. Like I think even the other day, or last night even, we were watching like, you know, we had like TikTok time and we were sharing TikToks and whatnot. And then it was like, oh yeah, like the guy from Oceans is Ross and Monica's dad in Friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I didn't even realize I knew that.
I forget that because I have like
is.
Actor, actress,
Blindness.
like blindness. Like I just don't, I have no memory of who anyone is. Except for like, I know like 5 names of actors.
Yeah,
That's it. Everyone else is just random faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely a fun one. But we have our own kind of things to bring to the table of things that we've converted each other to, things that we've been converted to. Welcome to Oceans. I feel like Oceans is probably the best thing on either of these notes that we have, because Oceans is just so good. It's such a good time.
Man. Is Oceans the best thing on either of these? I'm
so
gonna say from a fun standpoint, yes.
Okay, well, gosh, I feel like I'm kind of starting negative in a way. This is more through necessity than anything, but you've converted me to Apple Music, man. I don't like it.
I have it on my list.
Yeah, so me and Apple Music, look, I'm a Spotify girly through and through. I like the aesthetic of Spotify. I've been on Spotify forever. I also think I really love music, and I know like kind of everyone on earth loves music, but I will say like I think I have like that next level engagement with music because I listen to music all the time, all day, every day. So it's constant in my life. And I also, you know, got into vinyl. I used to have a CD collection growing up. Like I really enjoy music. And for that reason, as like, you know, technology started advancing, I would like dip into, what's music with the internet kind of look like, right? So I was super into like Pandora for a time because I love the idea of, we can make stations. Like Pandora was like, I feel like
that was really cool.
Was my first experience having like a platform that had a discover aspect to it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can make these little stations. That's cool. And then I also was really into RDO for a while. That was my main,
I don't know what that is.
That was my main like streaming thing. I don't even know how to look this up because it died. That's why I had to leave it.
Okay, gotcha.
The Verge has why RDO died from 2015, an article in 2015. Yeah, okay. It was before Spotify because like their sub had, I'm not gonna read the whole article, but it says like the service had a year's head start on Spotify in America, but it didn't matter. Yeah, it was like kind of similar to that. I think it also had some like Pandora-y elements. I don't remember anymore, but I loved it there. And then I went to Spotify because I'm like, okay, I need to go somewhere. And I think the thing with Apple Music, even though I started on iTunes by like, I had an iPod, so like
Sure.
I uploaded all, but also that was a way to digitize my physical. Like I had my CDs, all whatever. I know some people would say, "Oh, well, use the old account. You can have all that." Like I lost all those accounts. I don't have those accounts anymore. It's just a mess. I'm restarting from scratch. And I think Apple, as much as I love so many Apple products, I do think Apple has a sanitized angle to it. Apple feels very corporate. It feels very stripped down. So I'm like, and I don't like the UI. I like the community and the vibes of Spotify. You know, you try to search a playlist on Spotify, you get everyone's playlist. It's really fun. You search on Apple Music and they're like, would you like this playlist made by the Coca-Cola company? I'm like, no, I just want like, you'll search like fun vibes. And then they're like fun vibes made from Facebook. It's like the seasoning it's very unseasoned over there. I do know that the split for artists is better on Apple Music. I wish I felt more excited about that. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I love people getting paid more, but I'm just like, it's still not my favorite. I'm warming up to it though. It does have like the lossless audio, which I'm not gonna lie, I can barely hear the difference because I'm not like an audiophile enough to know. Like my ears are not trained enough. But it's also I like clean starts and fresh slates. That's why I like keep starting new like things, new apps. Like it's fun to be like beginning again. But really I joined you because you have an Apple One with like some of your friends already. So ultimately, especially with Spotify raising the prices like every few months, it seems, I'm like, okay, I can keep playing for Spotify for like 18 whatever bucks for the family plan, or I can just go to Apple Music and not have to pay anything. So, because you're already paying for it. So yeah. So I'm on Apple Music, and honestly, like I'm ready to try to make Apple Music not be whack. Like what do we have instead of freaking
Replay?
Yeah, Replay. Oh, instead of what's Spotify Wrapped? Spotify Wrapped, yeah. This is the year, guys. We need to walk arm in arm and try to make Replay cool because Replay is so whack.
It's like the same stuff.
But yet it feels whack. Like Replay feels like when you want to go somewhere, like you want to get, you want to go to Chuck E. Cheese and your parents are like, why don't we go to, this knockoff Chuck E. Cheese? It's the same thing. It is not the same thing. It's like you want Coca-Cola and your parents said, I got you RC Cola. It's like, that's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. They said it's a cola. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not the same thing. You wanted a GBA? I got you a Game Boy. Yeah, is it not the same? No, it doesn't play the same cartridges. Oh, but it has the games, right? Like, that's what Replay feels like. Right, well, and we need to all come together.
We could be the change.
And make it cool.
Yeah.
So
I'll be sharing my Replay, my
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to. We should definitely have like a an episode 2 on like what our replays are. That'll be really fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But I'm begrudgingly here, and I guess I'm here indefinitely. So gotcha. I was forced to convert to Apple Music.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Based on logic. What's one of yours?
I actually think I might combine 2 of mine. Tell me if this is too much, but I'm gonna combine. I've converted you to YNAB and 1Password.
Yeah. Just God, yes.
Systemic apps that just it manage it takes the thought out of your head. It handles things for you. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. Just give your data to the robots, and the robots don't fail you. YNAB, for those that don't know, is you need a budget. It's a budgeting app, software, platform thing. Which
YNAB is better than Oceans, I think. It's not as fun as Oceans, but I think
I give you that.
If I could only keep one thing, like I'm keeping YNAB.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
You will pry YNAB from my cold dead hands.
Yeah, it helps you budget. It helps you maintain your finances and stay on track and stay on top of things financially. It's great. I've used it for a couple years now. They've since moved to like a more traditional like cloud SaaS platform. And I migrated to. They've also raised their price over the years, and I'll be the first to say. What does cloud SaaS mean? Software as a service.
For people who don't know, you know what I mean? Not me. I know everything.
SaaS stands for software as a service. It's like a thing you pay for in order to access. Whereas before it used to be like you just buy the software and then you just have it.
I miss just buying software.
It's so great. So, like I said, maybe we'll do another episode about like going through budgets and all that jazz. For sure. But YNAB is for that. And then 1Password, for those that don't know, is a password manager, also a SaaS. Great example of a SaaS where, you pay the whatever bucks a month and you get the Chrome extension, the Safari extension, Firefox on your phone, on your laptop, on your iPad, on everywhere. It's a password manager. It auto generates these like very complex and secure passwords for you. It'll autofill them in when you go to the site or open the app or do whatever. You don't have to think about it. You just have to kind of know 1Password, which is the password to 1Password, hence the name. And then from there, it just automates and simplifies things. You can stay secure across all the different platforms. You're not using the same password 123 on everywhere. I'm glad she's hiding her face. Yeah, you were a victim.
Don't tell anyone the original 1Password is you have 1Password that you change like 2 numbers on sometimes.
Yeah. But then you forget what two numbers is on each platform.
Yeah, because every now and then, like, you'll come up with, and I think a lot of people listening can relate, where maybe you'll come up with, Zaboomafoo123, and you're like, this is my password. And then someone will say, you need a special character. So then now sometimes you have Zaboomafoo123 exclamation point. And then sometimes they'll say you need, I don't know, the numbers can be consecutive. So then you're like, okay, here it's Zaboomafoo312, and you just start drowning, and then you change the password, and they're like, it can't be an old password, and you're like, which is a Boomafoo was this? Then you make up, like, for me, I also had, like, at one point maybe a second, like, I have two passwords that I'd like go between. I'm like, okay, now we have, like, Foxy McFox as one of the passwords or something, and then it's like, okay, well, it's either Zaboomafoo123 or it's Foxy McFox 797, and then it was really tiring and it wasn't safe. Also, I like that 1Password can also generate a layer of two-factor authentication.
Yep.
Where especially a lot of websites are either requiring that, or it's also just good to have two-factor on to make your stuff more secure. So that's where, for those who don't know, it's where you like, or isn't click for you. It's like where, okay, it'll generate like the number that you, the one-time code that you have to put in, instead of other forms of two-factor, or sometimes they do two-factor through like your phone number, where they'll text you like your one-time code and then whatever. But and you can have secure notes in there too.
Yeah, you can have everything. Like, we have our Wi-Fi router passwords are in there, your credit card. So like if you're do like online shopping,
it's what we want to put my credit card in there.
For some people, I was gonna say this could be maybe a more of a con than a pro, but like you can auto fill out your billing information.
I wanted the pain of having to get the card every time.
Yeah, we give you that little extra time to think about, do I really want to do this?
I'm like, damn, I'm really going across the room. As I was gonna say, what are you doing? Oh my god! I'm like, now I just have it in there, but
yeah, no, tons of stuff are like frequent flyer numbers are all in there and everything. Basically, any like secure information that you kind of want to be able to share. The other thing too is that it allows you to do like sharing. So like in 1Password, I have they call them vaults. I have my personal vault. Janet has her personal vault, but then we have a shared like family vault, which is where we put things that both of us might need access to, right? So the games and not games credentials for things, as an example, is in the shared, so that either of us could always like check the email or log into YouTube or Twitter or whatever.
And if you're like me, you might be hearing this and saying, well, I don't know, like, it sounds like you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Isn't that like more insecure? But you're probably doing that to some degree anyway. Like, I know that some people try to just hold all that information in their head, but I think everyone who like doesn't have either 1Password, or maybe you just choose to do the Google Chrome, like saving your stuff in a browser, which like, hey, that's fine to do, I guess, as well. I feel like that's a little bit less secure than like 1Password to me. Also, I don't like being locked into like a certain browser and things like that. But even if you're trying to hold everything in your head because you're like, no one can hack my brain, you probably have like something written down in like a notes or something where it's like, okay, like, and maybe you do want to spread out, obviously, no, we're not here to tell you how to live your life, just to share how we live ours. But I think for me, reflecting on how like I had like fake security, I'm like, well, what are the odds the hackers are gonna like read this note I have in the notebook that's in my office? It's like, okay, like I don't think it's, I had to kind of like let some of that stuff go. That
and for the
very
very like technical savvy and securely conscious people, there's also like open source ones, right? Where there's Bitwarden, I know, is like a big one where you host it yourself, so you're not paying 1Password. You have your own computer, maybe a home server or something, and you have Bitwarden on that, and then that is your password manager. There's also just other platforms. Maybe you don't like 1Password. There's still LastPass, which is another popular one that people use, as well as, like you said, the Google keychain or Apple keychains, Safari and all these. All those can like also just store secure passwords. So do something besides just using the same password everywhere, people. That's the only, if you get one takeaway from this, just don't use the same 1Password.
The original 1Password is just everywhere. That you have 1Password that you use everywhere.
What about you? What do you got?
Oh man, I have let's see. Okay, something I converged you to, which I'm like, I was telling Isaiah while we were making these lists like separately, I'm like, I'm so embarrassed because I feel like I don't have anything I converge you to. Like, you're out here saving my life, and I'm like, I have the Uniqlo crossbody bag.
Oh yeah. No, I really liked. I was wondering why you grabbed that of all things. Really like the Uniqlo crossbody bags. It's gotten me. I was never like a big
A bag boy?
crossbody. I like bags, but bags never liked me. You know what I mean? It's like I've always had like a book bag. You know, growing up, you've got your JanSport or something. You throw it on. You're wearing that through high school. Maybe you get to college, you get something a little bit different. At one point, I got the Timbuktu sort of like messenger bag, and I love the bag, but the bag just never worked for me. I still have it actually.
Yeah, why do you still have it?
Because I don't want to get rid of it because it's nice. It's a
every
nice
week
bag.
we find more. Every week another piece of the Jenga tower of Isaiah's secret flaws appears. I thought you liked it still. That's why I thought you kept it.
I do like it. And
weren't you going to buy another one?
I want to try to get used to it. I want to try to wear it again and explore with it. I haven't used it since I first moved to California I don't know, 5 years ago. So maybe I just had to mature a little bit, you know? I'll give it another shot. But yeah, no, I've always liked bags, but bags have never been like a thing that I could gravitate towards in like variety. And so I just always stick with just whatever book bag at the moment I have. Right now I have the Peak Design camera bag, and it's such a good bag. So good. But as a like it's a big bag. It's a camera bag. It's got like pockets and slots and things like that. For like regular day-to-day, hey, we're running a Target, hey, we're going to the mall, we're doing something smaller, lighter, funner. The Uniqlo crossbody bag is like perfect, ideal. I also got another crossbody bag from Target that fits. It's a little bit bigger. It's like designed a little bit different, so it can like
it's more like a sling.
It's longer. Yeah. It's more long than it is wide.
Yeah.
And so like depending on what I'm carrying that day, if I want to bring like a tripod or something, maybe I'll bring that instead. But either way, the crossbody bag, I'll totally give that to you.
Yeah, which like the Uniqlo crossbody is really just same difference as like the Baggu Crescent bag as well is really popular. It's just a good bag.
And it's also cheap.
Yeah, it's good. It's affordable, and there are a million colorways across. Really, like now the crossbody bags are like really blown up because of / in tandem with Baggu popping off. You can get like any kind, and there's so many different kinds. And then Baggu makes all these different SKUs, and like Uniqlo same difference. So, that's one of mine.
Cool. I guess back to me.
Yeah, I'm scared what you have next.
I have, funnily enough, we don't have it right now.
Okay.
But I'm gonna throw a weighted blanket in there. I don't think you ever had a weighted blanket. I think I introduced you to a weighted blanket.
I love weighted blanket.
And as far as I know,
I miss weighted blanket.
It's so good. It's so good. Weighted blanket. For those who don't have one, it's like a bean, almost like bean bag
material inside.
Material filled blanket that just adds a little bit of weight. You put it on you. It could also be cooling. Like I run hot, and for me, the beans are. I don't know. Again, I don't know what they're called. So I'm calling them beans. Yeah, the beans are like cooling. They have like this cooling effect while giving you like this weight and comfort when you like go down to sleep at night and everything. It's great. You get them in different sizes, different colors, different styles and designs and whatnot. But just a simple weighted blanket. I think a 15, 20 pounder is kind of like a nice, sweet entry spot. I'm down to go a little bit heavier just because I'm a bigger boy. But, hey, try it out. Next time you're in Target and you see one or something, or on Amazon next Prime Day or something.
We need to buy another one. Yeah. Our cat she had an accident on there.
She ruined ours.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, maybe we could like, and they're a little hard to get clean too, because like you can't, since they are weighted, like you can't just put them in like a laundromat, like you're not supposed to at least. So I guess it's like a dry clean maybe situation. It's like, you know what? It was already old anyway. I'm like, let's just get, I don't want to go back to that. Yeah. After seeing what happened to that blanket, I was like, we just get rid of it. I don't know if I converted you to this.
Ooh.
The comal? Did you use a comal before?
No.
Okay, no. Thank God I got something great.
Yeah.
A comal that's the word for it in Spanish. In English, it is a flat griddle, I think is what people, I just from Googling it, for what it's called. It's kind of also like, I guess that's what it would be. It's a flat griddle pan, I suppose. And I use it to make tortillas. That's it. That's what it's for. I know, like when you look up pictures of it, sometimes you see people making like, I don't know what other people make in this, like pancakes, food. I don't know. You can also use it for meat as well. I like to put aluminum foil down, and if I'm making like carne asada, like a little steak meat, you can just cook it really nice on there, and it gets a good sear to it. It's great because it's thin, so it's thin enough to sort of like get the heat going quickly, but also distribute it in a nice way. Versus our stove came with like a heavy griddle thing in the middle, but it's so thick, and then the burner is only in the center. So I find it doesn't really like, I don't really like
Yeah.
how it cooks. And then I also don't really like using stuff like that that's baked into the stove because it's kind of like, gets all nasty.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a guamala when we first like got together. And then, I don't know, we like got rid of it, lost it, left it with a family member or something at some point. And then we had a little bit of a gap and we finally got another one again. And life's good again. Life's good again. The tortillas are finally cooking evenly again.
Yeah, man. I do want to like use it more for breakfast things too, like doing pancakes because it's just so much easier to evenly cook something like a pancake on a comal than a pan. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, I give that to you. It's nice. Well, I want to get more, even like different size ones and everything. Like we had to fill a need that we had, so we just got like a medium sized one. But I know they also have like square ones or ones with different handles that make it a little bit easier to move around and maneuver, different sizes. So we should explore getting some more.
Yeah, well, I want to do a lot of which maybe this could be its own episode too, really. But I want to do more. We're working on experimenting more with the cooking stuff. There's so much stuff I want to do with cooking. Like I wanted to start making like salsas, like our own salsas and stuff. But
yeah, you mentioned like getting like a nice blender.
Yeah, a good blender and just really like, yeah, man, it's gonna be fun.
Ninja is just dropping the bat. I don't think we can do Ninja anymore. They've messed up too many times.
Oh, because they were the creamy?
They were the creamy that exploded on us like twice.
Isaiah wanted a Ninja creamy. Isaiah loves kitchen gadgets.
Why am I getting
hyper specific kitchen gadgets? So like, if you can think of something that does one singular thing, the less an object does, the more Isaiah wants it. Like he has like the Soda Stream to carbonate this water.
I'm not gonna lie, I saw on TikTok that Ninja came out with like a slushy machine. And I was like, oh, that'd be
he wanted the Ninja Creamy. The Ninja Creamy is like an ice cream maker. But we got one, and then the first one didn't work.
The first one just didn't power on. Yeah.
Then I returned it. We got another one, and that one worked for a bit, and then it like kind of fried out.
Yeah, like electrical fire smells started coming from it when you used it and everything.
That was just the end, I think.
Yeah,
after that point.
It's just too late. The creamy's just not gonna work.
Yeah, the Ninja Creamy did not work. So, what else you got?
I'm gonna go with an easy one. Cat. I think you never had cat before.
I never had a real pet before. Just fish. Yeah. No offense to the goldfish that I had, but
Bruce, our chunky girl, she, I guess it's fair to say your first like real pet that you have to like actually interact with and take care of, and who can show you affection back. Do you like cat? Is that fair to say?
I love cat. Actually, well, I don't have it on me now, but I was drinking out of a cat mug earlier. I love this cat. I was a little afraid of the cat because my only other interactions with a cat was like one of my friends had a cat and the cat was kind of aggressive. Like I remember one time I was wearing these like bangles on my wrist and like the jingly sound maybe like got it all amped up and it like scratched me and stuff. And then my other interaction with cats is my uncle's kids, like my cousins, had cats and they had like a lot of like little kittens. I don't know if their cat just had like a bunch of babies or something. And they were really tiny. So they would try to get under the bathroom door when you were using the bathroom and they'd have to stuff towels there to like stop them. But otherwise you see their little paws going, the little heads peeking through. So my interactions with cats are I'm trying to use the toilet and they're coming for me, or this cat scratched the shit out of me. So those were my interactions with cats. So I'm like, okay, like I was a little afraid of the cat scratching me and also like how comfortable I'd be picking it up because I'd never picked it up before. So the first time I picked it up, I like put on some gloves to like, because I was worried I was gonna get scratched by it, and I didn't want to have to care about that. So I'm like, in a very Ash Ketchum style with Pikachu, But I loved your cat from the jump, which is now our cat, because it's really the appeal of a cat. It's like I was sitting around, I was watching something on my laptop, the cat showed up, the cat sat there. I was watching my show. The cat was watching the show with me. And I was like, yeah, man, I see you you too are a man of taste. Okay. And like, that's the beauty of cats. And every cat has like different personalities. And I know some like species have like archetypes, like the orange cats are dumb and stuff like that. But generally they're all like just a little different, but they're all pretty chill and or funny. And like, I don't know. Also too, having a pet, like it's unlike anything that I would have thought it would be. Because when I didn't have a pet, like, and I liked animals, like looking at animals, like animals are cute. I like cute things. But the way people would talk about their pets and like love their pets and post about their pets, I'm like, I mean, I guess like whatever, right? It's just it's a cat, it's a dog, like who cares? And then I'm like, no, like I look at this cat and this cat will do nothing, just like sit there. I'm like, oh my God, she's so funny. She's so funny. Look at her. And then you look at her and you're like, yeah, it's really funny. And I'm like, this cat's so funny. And it's like the cat isn't actually even doing anything, but everything that this cat does, it's like that song, you know, that every little thing she with the police does is magic. That is having a pet. And I didn't really realize that would be the case because you don't know it until you're really in it. Yeah. Love that cat.
Nice.
Love cats. I feel like I need to have a cat at all times now. Like we only have the one cat, but I think I'd want a pet in my life forever now because like it's too much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I want to explore having a dog. I haven't had a dog since I was like a little kid. We had like a family dog that I was way too young to really take care of.
Was that Brody?
Biggie.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, no, something to explore.
Yeah, a dog will be really fun, but it's so much work, so it's such a time commitment and all these other things. But
it's the only bad part.
But I'm excited to like. I think I'll be more healthy if I have a dog, because I'll be like running around with the dog.
Yeah, go for a walk.
It's like me and the dog can just run around. That sounds awesome. Yeah, that's gonna be, we can like play frisbee with it. Like that's lit.
Fetch, you take the ball to the park and
like,
everything. Oh,
Bruce, our cat Bruce is fun, but she like, you know, she's a cat still. So, and you can teach cats tricks, but they're just not as trick oriented and they don't like go outside by nature a lot of times. Like we have an indoor cat.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we can really like hang out. Like someone to hang out, we can go out now. Cause like, then you have the cat. The cat's good for like, and I am a homebody. So like the cat fits that. But the cat is who I am. The dog is who I want to be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be so fun. For me, I honestly can't think of any other things I converted you to. I have stuff you converted me to. I have, I think the big one, I'll combine these because like one's really big and then one is like incredibly small. Mm-hmm. The big one, TSA pre. The small one, toilet paper orientation. Boom.
Yeah. No, TSA pre is the best. Like if you travel even, I don't know, once a year.
Yeah.
TSA pre is the best like $80 you can get. Mm-hmm. It lets you just more quickly go through bigger airports because you get like the special TSA pre line. You don't have to take your shoes off or do the song and dance, figuring out, what clothes are okay to keep on, what clothes are do I have to take off, and this, that, and the third. It just simplifies things. It makes it so much nicer, so much quicker to get through. It saved our ass like a couple times where it's like if we had to jump through the regular line, we would have missed our flights or just been delayed enough that like something would have happened and gone wrong. So easy buy.
I will say though, you also converted me to arriving at the airport at a normal time because I grew up. We didn't fly much growing up. Like I fly a lot now for work and stuff, which is like really cool. It's something that like not a lot of people get to do. So I really like that part of my job, my career, and my life. But growing up, I only took like one plane. Like I went to Mexico like when I was 8. And we like, that was kind of it. And then after that, the only other time I flew was probably like, so that was back in like 2000, I don't know, 3 or 4. And then I flew again when we went to like San Diego in like 2014 or something. Okay. So I had like, when I flew to Paris in 2012. Sure. That's an international flight. So it's like, okay, that's kind of a whole, even though the Mexico one's also an international flight. So yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, when it comes to this international stuff, we're, showing up really early. And then 2, like times have changed a lot, but like I constantly retell this story to you, even though you already know it. But my uncle when you dropped my uncle off at the airport, and we asked him what time we dropped him off at. What time was it that we dropped him off?
8:30 maybe.
Yeah, like it was in the morning.
Yeah. Like
and we asked him what time his flight was. What did he say?
I think he said like 2 p.m. or something like that.
He said we want to eat before we get.
And I'm like, are you cooking the food? What do you do? Even then.
And when we drove away, I said, this is why I am the way I am.
Yeah, no.
We show up early. You show up at a regular time. I just ask, and I still don't even know the methodology. I just ask you, even if I'm flying without you, hey, when do I need to be there? Cool.
Yeah.
And I just go off faith that you're right, because.
I feel like what most people will tell you, which is what I go by, is like, domestic flight, 30 minutes is like the normal. You can go up or down a little bit based on like how big or small the airport is. Like LAX here, yeah, sure, maybe I'd do like 45 minutes just to be comfortable.
Before boarding.
Like boarding is usually they give you the boarding time on it. I do before like boarding starts.
Before boarding starts, yeah.
Like half an hour before boarding starts for your regular airport, generically anywhere, and then you just.
A lot of people do. You need to be at the gate an hour before boarding starts.
That's insane. You don't need
That's
to be
how a lot of people
early.
go by. Now, I will say we did miss one flight.
But
we got screwed over, but we did, and that's why people I think show up so early. They're like, I never want that to happen to me. Like I never ever want. But like, again, we've flown so many times, and that's happened once, and really it was just like a string of bad things happening together.
It was a string of bad things.
But basically, a lot of people are just like, I'm always prepared for a string of bad things to happen, which I think is kind of my tendency too. But I enjoy my life more now, just getting to like, I just walk on through.
Yeah.
And that's it. And again, in TSA Pre allows you to just walk on through. So I really liked having that. And then with the toilet paper thing, we had to pick on concessions. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just go with like how you have it. Because I think I won out on the type of toilet paper we use. The Charmin, the blue one?
Ultra soft or whatever.
Yeah, I use the ultra soft. So I was like, okay, well, you can have this. You do it where it's not facing the wall. It's over.
Yeah.
Like it's dangling towards you. It's not like touching the wall.
Correct.
And now that I've done it so much, that I'm just used to it now. And I like if you died, I would still just do it. Because I'm like, I don't know. This is how I set it up now. Now it feels weird when it's on the other way. But I grew up doing it the other way.
The only time for me, the only time toilet paper under is like, I don't know, quote, fine or correct is if you have pets that do get into the toilet paper.
Like put their paws
because
over
when it's over, if they just like swipe at it, it'll
Yeah.
just all come running off. Whereas if it's under and they swipe at it, it just spins in place. So I'll give people that.
I feel like under is like easier for ripping it.
I think the opposite. Because I can't see what square I'm like. I have to pull so much more in order to see the square that I'm ripping. Whereas over, it's just it's right there.
Yeah. So that's just my life now.
No, that's solid. I can maybe more like rapid fire some that I have. One, I'm not sure if you fight me on this a little bit in more recent history. So I don't know. Maybe I didn't fully convert you. No TV in the bedroom.
Yeah, I am pretty converted to that.
Okay.
It's just that
before you liked it.
Yeah. I was huge on like, here's the thing. I love TV. Like I love having a TV. I don't even watch that much TV, but I love TV.
Mm-hmm.
TV is great. Screen is great. Big screen. So yeah, I would have a TV in my room. I'd have a TV everywhere, basically. Like at one point in my life, I'm like, and I still kind of, now since the way our kitchen's set up, like we can see the TV from the kitchen. But if we couldn't, I'm like, we should get a TV in the kitchen.
Oh, like one of the like small little just like countertop.
Yes. Put a TV everywhere. Like that era where TVs were in cars. Like we're probably gonna have a TV in like the backseat for the kids or whatever. Yeah, why not?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I like having it just be like a space where like I go in there and I go to sleep. I mean, I still use my phone sometimes like in bed, but having it be more of a we're in here just to sleep. I like that separation a lot. The only light pushback I have now is I could see down the line, like one day in one bedroom configuration we have, having a little projector. I think that'd be a nice kind of cozy, cute little like, movie night or something. But generally, I think, no TV. Pretty converted to no TV.
Cool. Board games? Would you say I converted you to board games? Okay.
Absolutely. I did not like board games at all before.
Card games.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. What do y'all got? Monopoly, Catan. And here's no shade to Catan because I finally played Catan. I think Catan is fun. But I do think Catan, one, is a little overrated. And then two, when people talk about Catan is actually a lot simpler than I thought it would be. The way people talk about Catan, they talk about Catan like it is the Elden Ring of board games. Like people are like, this is the ultimate strategy of world domination. You're just like putting down some pieces and making like a little train. Like it's not that complicated. But I feel like it was very hyped to be like a really complicated game. And then a lot of board games have a long rule set. Not all. And it's kind of like, I have to kind of leave behind what I thought a board game would be to like open up to what board games actually are, which is like, they're much more of like a diverse set of styles and types and complexities. But in my mind, I'm like, it's all long and boring and dry and complicated. And they're not that. So yeah, that's definitely one.
And I think too, the more you play, the more you start to see that like video games, it is just almost like a reconfiguring of these like same mechanics that like do reappear a lot.
It's also like what you like.
Yeah.
Like I like still just cute things. So like I'll look for like cute art and cute ideas and stuff. I enjoy stuff that's a little bit of a shorter runtime sometimes. But I also like things that have super layered like strategy elements, like or different approaches to the winning. I love a game where you can win in different ways. Yeah. As well. It's like a big,
it's always good,
enjoyable mechanic for me. So yeah, it's been a fun one.
And then some things I have that you converted me on. One is black coffee.
Okay.
I was never a huge coffee drinker, and then when I did drink coffee, it was very much we're gonna just put cream and sugars and all this into this. Yeah, like I want to not taste coffee when I drink coffee, kind of thing. But I think being with you, being around you more, having you make me coffee and learning how to make coffee for you, the idea of just like a simple black coffee has grown on me.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I guess I would still say I enjoy a nice like flavored specialty coffee. But if I'm at a restaurant or we're at a diner or bakery or somewhere and they just give me a black coffee, I'm like, yeah, cool, great. Give it here. I'll take it. Thanks. I appreciate it. Is that soccer, which we got into previous episode?
You're gonna have fun at the World Cup. It's gonna be good.
I am very excited. I don't know.
I'm worried
what
about you
expect.
in the crowds.
I think
like I worry that when the games are too big, you're like, actually, this is overstimulating and tell, and everyone's drunk and they're screaming at me.
I think the what do you call them? The air.
I got you
Earplugs.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the brand offhand. I forget what the brand is.
I think the earplugs you got me are going to help with that. For me, it's very easy for me to get overstimulated in like a lot of big crowds or like loud, noisy areas, you know, concerts, sports games, things like that. While I enjoy being there and going to them and everything like that, it's just sometimes it could be a little too much. And so I need to like, you know, pop the earplugs in.
The brand is Loop.
Yes.
Loop earplugs.
Yes.
And I still want to get.
Solid.
I want us to get the ones that are for like coffee shops and see how those are and stuff. I think that'd be fun.
That'd be cool. And then points. You know, I've been trying to get more into this points.
I wasn't
game.
sure if you were converted to the point because Isaiah would always make fun of me for my points.
I still make fun of you for your points.
Why? But you're
because I don't understand it yet.
But
I can accept that points are good without knowing or feeling the goodness of
the thrill. Yeah, you don't get the thrill.
I don't have that thrill that you have where you're like, oh, I'm getting 100 extra points for this purchase here. To me, it's just like, man, cool. Maybe I'll be able to buy a ticket later down the line.
I don't enjoy getting the points. I enjoy when the points accumulate. Like I'm not like, oh, like when I buy a sweater, I'm not like, yay, 20 points. Mm-hmm. But when I like go to Capital One, they're like, you have $40 of rewards points. It's like, cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That's like dope. And that's like, yeah.
So I started with travel where we're going all in on Delta for like our airline and trying to rack up points there. And I don't know, maybe one day we'll get a discounted ticket or something.
Yeah, one day it's going to happen.
Same for like Hilton is like our hotel chain of choice where if we can't stay at a Hilton, I'll pay a little bit more to stay at a Hilton in order to get the points from it. And just like, again, slowly build that bucket up. So, yeah, I would say you've converted me with points. If you want, you can give it like an asterisk. But I would say I'm into points.
Nice. My last rapid fire ones too are you converted me to Crocs. I think I might have already had a pair of Crocs, like my chunky sandals. Like I have some Crocs that don't look like Crocs. They're like chunky sandals or like thin sandals that look like just regular shoes. Like versus when I think people think Crocs, they think the shoes with the holes in them on the top. But I think yours might even been my first pair of Crocs because Isaiah was like, oh, what if we got matching Crocs together? And at first I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't like Crocs. But then I thought like 1 second later and I'm like, oh, that's stupid though. Like, you know, you obviously we're engaged now, so you're my fiance. But at the time when you were my boyfriend, I was like, you know, my boyfriend's like asking if I want to like join him on this little bonding experience of getting the same Crocs. Like, why am I going to shit all over this cute little thing that like this like bid for attention / affection? Like that's just that seems dumb to me. So I'm like, okay, let me not get in my own way here. This seems like a fun thing for us to do together. Let's get the Crocs. And yeah, I like it. I've enjoyed matching with you and having little shoes to like run my errands on. And even aesthetically, I've liked the look of Crocs a little bit more. Like I really I showed you those really ugly ones that I want that are coming out.
Yeah.
They already exist out there. Like, but this one's like a purpley colorway. They're going to drop. I forgot the name of the sub brand within Crocs. But yeah, it's just fun, you know? And then I also have my Crocs house slippers too that are really comfortable. So
yeah, we have some just for the house. So we don't stub our toes on tables. And
oh my God, they're so good because they have like a little bit of platform. So like I don't hit my foot on anything anymore. It's awesome. And then this is a small one, but you're really big on the Myers cleaning spray.
Yeah. So, in the hand wash, the hand soap.
Though I'm not going to lie.
You don't have the hand soap?
No, the hand soap is fine. But like I have like on a cross of that for things I want to convert you to. I'm still kind of bummed that you won't get in on the 409. I love the 409. I feel like the 409 is more like Myers is like, we're kind of naturey, and maybe and they might both be bullshitting. I don't know. But 409, I feel like we got real chemicals. Like we're really getting clean. 409. And when I used to work at a brewery, we cleaned with 409, and I was like, we're getting it clean with 409. So I miss 409.
I have used 409 before. And I'm not opposed to 409. I think it's just more, I like the sense.
The sense of Myers is really nice.
Has over the 409.
On the same note, things I want to convert you to. I'm bummed about that Fabuloso,
I know
man.
You want that Fabuloso. I don't know if I can switch back to Fabuloso.
Fabuloso.
Pine Sol is just there. It's just got that.
But there's
smell.
There's no culture though to Pine Sol.
What do you mean? It's got
Pine Sol's
culture.
American and Fabuloso is Hispanic. This is Mexican culture is the Fabuloso. You know?
I would be down to take this to a science. How about that? We could look. I know that there's like
a cleanologist or something.
People who like do cleaning, like they're full-time cleaners. I'd be down to just
I think a lot of cleaners
see what they say.
Rock with the Fabuloso. But Pine Sol is very popular and it has a great smell to it. It does smell great.
It's fantastic.
Fabuloso has a nice smell too. It's different.
Yeah, but it's
not piney.
It's not
That's
Pine
the thing.
Sol, though. Yeah.
It's not piney. Yeah. I'm a little bummed about the Fabuloso. But I think I think those are the only things I want to really convert you to. I mean, I do. I would love to convert you to Marie Kondo's stuff for the clothes and everything. I think you have a lot of items that are.
I have that in my list of things. Cut down on some of the clothes that I have. I have a lot of t-shirts, guys.
Isaiah has at least 38 t-shirts from last I counted.
Like that, yeah. I can cut some of those down. And I will before next episode. That'll be this week's.
Every week
3D printer.
I find something wrong with Isaiah that he has to go and fix before the next week.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of it. I mean, I think we're also like very, kind of ending with our little set in stones, things that we feel like are really working for us. I feel like we're pretty like on the same page for a lot of things. And some of that is because we converted people to the other page, but I don't know. But also these are things that I think are better. Like the Myers versus Fabuloso 409, whatever, that's kind of sort of a debate. It's more of a preference than I think it's better situation. But what are some of your set in stones?
Yeah, get into set in stones. I mean, I think the biggest one for me is just the Apple iPhone ecosystem.
Oh yeah, me too.
Kind of thing. I
miss picking my phone though. I miss that era, but it's not coming back.
It used to be so cool getting a new phone that did different stuff and it looked different and it functioned different. But at this point, I think the ecosystem outweighs the customized function user experience. Like I love getting a new phone and I know how it works.
Yep.
All my apps are there. I log into my 1Password and like it's just back to fully functional in a day. In like hours. Not even hours, minutes. As soon as you can just like transfer over everything from old phone if you want. I always like to start fresh, kind of like you said. Yeah. But if you want, you could be like minutes into a new device and you're back home.
Yeah.
Same for the MacBooks, right? I use a Mac for work. I use a Mac for personal stuff. We got a new Mac here for the studio. iPads, Apple Watches, the Apple TV, like all of it just works so seamlessly together that somebody would have to do the same thing so much better for me to then switch to this other ecosystem.
And I think we've all bonded as Apple users around the fact that we don't have like the best thing. And we're kind of all okay with it. And I like that. Where people will be like, did you know that this is better? It's like, yeah, did you know? I don't care.
Yeah,
and we all have agreed on this.
Yeah. Does it have the best screen? Probably not. Does it have the best camera? Maybe,
I love
maybe
seeing
not.
like the other side. I'm like, for Android, I'm like, we're going to get that in like 3 years. I can't, it's going to be awesome. And when we get it, we're going to act like it was invented. And it's going to be awesome.
I got my USB-C phone and now I'm set. That's all I needed. And I got no more wants.
Yeah. The iPhone's like, I think the ultimate set in stone. For me, one of mine is, and I feel like something could beat this out if I find like a better alternative. But I don't know if I will. As far as comfort shoes, Adidas Boost. I'm like so locked down on the Adidas
really
Boost.
good.
They're so comfortable.
Yeah.
They look decent. I'm not in love with the look of them, but I like the look enough. And they come in all these different colorways. Yeah.
I'm never going to turn down a pair.
I think I'm just going to keep rebuying different pairs. Like right now I have a white pair. And I think when that one wears out, which it might be getting kind of close-ish to wearing out, I'm just going to buy another Adidas Boost of like a somewhat neutral color, either a white, somewhat black or gray or something that I can just wear with everything. And I go to games and I go to stuff and I want to check out the Dr. Scholl's has a shoe that's supposed to be really comfortable.
Okay.
But even then, like Adidas got also like the swag factor.
Yeah.
That like Dr. Scholl's doesn't look ugly, but it's not wavy. It's not cool. Like I think Adidas boosts comfort and good design set in stone.
I feel like the Adidas Boosts are like the new age Air Force Ones, where it's like you just always had a pair because they were a staple. There was something you always had. You could always bust them out. I feel like now the Adidas Boost is like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like just having a pair, they're comfortable. You can wear. You go into an amusement park or something.
Yep.
Perfect. You got a long drive. Perfect. You want to run. Perfect. Like
let's not get crazy. I would never run in my boots.
I think they're
I would
fine.
never run in my Adidas boots.
I mean, they're not running shoes, but
yeah, I am also like running is my bag, so it's like I would never run in my Adidas boots. But if they work for you, then they work for you. A lot of people run in different shoes. It's just, but for me, they're not running shoes. But if I had to, but I will say I think they are athletic-y. Like I like to, if we're like playing at the park or something, I'll probably keep like the Adidas boots I have for like, oh, we're going to the park and we're going to play around.
I guess that's more what I meant. I wouldn't say like run a marathon or anything.
Yeah, like I'm not looking to like, we're going for a run, let me put on my boots. Not me.
You're out and about, you're moving and grooving, Adidas boots got your back.
Yeah. I feel like if we have to, take your nephew to Billy B's again, like I'm wearing my Adidas boots and we're like playing around. Yeah.
Shout out Billy B's.
Yeah, Billy B's, man. Billy B's is honestly like pretty fun. I mean, I'm an adult, so it's not fun for me, but like, but I'm like, I see why this is fun. Yeah, it's a good time.
For me, I think you'd agree with this. The double TV living room.
Oh yeah.
I think going
it's
forward,
so ugly though.
It's so ugly, but it's so functional. We've tried with it. We went back to
You're right. We went back to
and then we came back.
Where did that lead us back to me?
Yeah, we've proven that it's elite. You can't top it.
Do you ever think we could do the triple TV living room? At what point are we living in a B-dubs?
Oh man, I think that. You already talking about adding a TV to the kitchen. We got 2 TVs in the living room. We're not too far off.
Yeah. I think, two TVs in the living room, specifically because we game. Mm-hmm. If we weren't gaming, I think there wouldn't really be. I mean, I know some people may want to watch their same shows at the same time or something, I guess. But yeah, the gaming factor of it, like local co-op, if you're, or like not local, but if you're doing like online co-op for like a console, you can just sync up there.
Yep.
If you're playing the same game, if you're playing a different game, it works for everything.
Yep.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah. And we tried to like, and the thing is, when we left the 2 TVs, all you bought a portable display, which is it's just the TV.
Yeah.
What worse? Yeah. 2 TVs. I think you're right. I think we're just like, the living room's just always going to look kind of ugly.
But it'll be functional.
Maybe in a world where we have like a lot of space, which we probably won't exist in that world, but if we did, it'd be cool if we had like a living room, you sit like those like stupid rooms where it's like, ooh, we like sit and talk or whatever the fuck. I don't know. What's the point of
sitting
that?
Rooms?
Yeah, the sitting rooms. And that's the thing. I guess some people treat their living rooms how we treat our bedroom, where it's like, there's no TV, it's just a place for sleep. Where they're like, the living room's a place for like family to sit around and share. Like, I'm trying to watch TV. What are you talking about? Why are we sitting? We could sit around and share at the TV. There's no rule they want to be quiet when the TV's on, It's like, anyway, but I think a world where we have like a little sitting area and then like a like entertainment space, that might be a world. Because then also we can make the space more like ugly, like more gamery, more movie-y. Yeah. And it's like, ooh, it's a fun entertainment space and not just my tacky living room. I think that's the only thing that I kind of hate, where it's like, our stuff has to look a little tacky because I like tacky things. And it's like, I can't like sequester it into like, oh no, it's supposed to be tacky, and everyone's like, oh, it's cool. And instead it's just like I have a stormtrooper like next to like the sofa, and it's dumb.
Yeah. See, I thought you were going to go with maybe like the next iteration of this is one really nice TV and then like a projector, something that's not like necessarily permanent.
Like a projector's just a bad TV. And I think I'm fine with it in like a bedroom setting because it's like, oh, we'd use it so infrequently, and it kind of has like that cozy vibe because it doesn't look that good. But like,
well, have you ever had a good projector?
I feel like even a good projector is just like,
you'd be surprised.
I don't know. But at that point also, I don't want to drop too much money on a projector because at that point, let's just get a TV, So it's like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's like, it just isn't as good. Right. But I wouldn't mind having it for certain or if we're, like outside, like having a projector outside is like super clutch and stuff like that. That'd be cool. But yeah, that's fair. I'm sure there's more stuff I have set in stone, but I think that's all. Really? That's all I need to. Well, I have like more stuff written, but I feel there's you kind of go forever or not go for it all. Like the other stuff I have is like Tide Pods, Barkeeper's Friend, and even though it's basic and it's bad for the environment. I think the Keurig is gonna stay in my life forever. Like, and
There
I
is
like
something
making good
about
coffee, but it's like sometimes I just need a coffee. Give me a shitty little quick coffee,
Yeah.
and it's over there. It's just like fighting for itself. Like, I'm like, it's almost done. Like, it's like sputtering out, splashing everywhere, and I love that stupid thing. And I know people will say like, you know, if you want it to be more environmentally friendly, you can put the grounds. If I'm getting grounds out, I'm not using a Keurig. I'm using a French press. I'm doing like, if we're gonna be fancy, kind of like the projector. If we're gonna be fancy, let's be fancy the whole way.
Yeah.
I go to the Keurig because I'm cheap, and I decided today I don't care about the environmental impact. And you know, like I go there because I'm a bad, flawed person. The Keurig is who I am, and the grounds is who I want to be.
That's
you
fair.
know.
That is fair.
But yeah, what are your final set in stones?
I'll do more rapid fire for them. Board game table. I think as long as we have the space, we'll
I
always
do love board game table.
have this table or a table like it.
It's a table where, and they come in different forms, but ours is the one where you have like a top that you can like take off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then underneath, it's like you have like a maybe like 2 inches of depth, and then there's like
that like felt
like a felty, like a cloth material thing. We even have the ones that have like sliders on the side where you can put like dice trays or like drink holders, and yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. So I think as long as we
can,
we'll have board game table. Vinyls and records. I think even aesthetically, having some vinyl around, even if it's just for display purposes. If we got rid of the record player, I think we'd always have at least some vinyls, like core vinyls for us too, like some of our favorite albums or things we just think look cool or sound cool or special editions or whatever.
You know, you don't spin any of the vinyl. Are you interested in ever like putting them on the thing? Because you've never actually you've never been like, I'm putting a vinyl on, and then like I've never walked in and you're like playing a vinyl. Is it because you feel like it's mine and you don't want to touch it?
Not that I can't touch it, more that
I have an unfriendly energy.
You have an unfriendly energy when it comes to your record player. It's very big car syndrome. Still, and I'm waiting for when that eventually goes away, and I do think it will go away.
Look,
then I'll be more prone to throw something on there.
It's a process.
Oh yeah.
You know, they just spray down the stuff, like clean. Just have it be clean.
Why do
Keep it clean.
At that point, I would just put it on in my headphones.
But the point of doing the vinyl is that you're not doing that. It's kind of like it's like you're asking me, why can't I just can I put the grounds into the Keurig? And it's like, I mean, you can, but like at that point, like, why are we, you know?
No, I feel like you're asking me, why don't I grind coffee and put it in the press?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, if I have to do it this special way, I'm gonna just throw a K-cup in and
But that's what
good.
That process is.
Yeah.
Though.
And I'm glad it exists for you.
Yeah. I want this to be represented accurately. I don't think I'm asking for much. I asked for them to be cleaned. The vinyl needs to be clean before you put it on the record player. I'd say the needle should probably be cleaned as well. That's basically it. You wipe it down. You know, you wipe each side before they go on there.
Yeah, I'm not doing all that.
That's not that much to do.
It is like, more than press play,
you know,
which is enough.
Because it's like that's the process of it. But you know, that is fair. You enjoy the vibes, and I enjoy the all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You enjoy the methodology, the ritualistic.
Yeah. Again, we have to get. I don't think we've gotten to the episode of Malcolm in the Middle yet, where Lois with her mom makes this traditional like food of like their ethnic background. I forgot what their ethnic background is, but it's like a traditional food from like, and I also don't know if the food is made for the show or if it's like whatever. It's a traditional dish in their family, whatever, their family, their culture. And it's like this really long, like weird kind of like pie thing. I don't know. It's like a big, it's kind of good, but it's huge. It's like the length of like a table, several tables long. And it's like really complicated to make. And she's like trying to make it, and her mom's being an asshole to her because her mom's an asshole. You know, it's like how the whole shit of the show. And then Lois is like, why are we doing all this? It doesn't even taste good. And she said, it's not supposed to taste good. We make it because it's hard to make. And that is the vinyl. It's not necessarily, and even though I know some people think, oh, vinyl sounds better or whatever, and yeah, sure, it has different sounds and all that. But part of it is that it's suffering. The fun is in the meticulous, you know, it's the process of it. It's not supposed to taste good.
It's like got a little bit of that IKEA
hard to
effect,
make.
Where it's like, because you worked for it, it sounds better now.
Oh, like you make the furniture and you feel like that. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if I've ever like made something and been like, I killed it right now for the IKEA furniture, but I don't know.
Okay. Another one I have is library, like library time,
yeah.
going to the library, just hanging out there.
I love the library.
I was off the library, not in like against libraries or anything, but I just was not going to the library since I don't know, high school.
Same.
And then we were like, you know what, let's just try a local library here. And it's fantastic. Recommend it. It's a quiet place.
Yeah.
You can get work done. You can rent rooms. We do like our meetings sometimes there. We rent books. We rent audiobooks, movies. It's support your local library. Like it's such a good place.
It's also, this kind of came about when we were looking for coffee shops to like work out of, because like for a coffee shop to be a good working space, it has to like hit all these different things. So the tables have to be a good size. Maybe it has like outlet access. Maybe it has internet access if you need that. Maybe it has like a certain sound. Also, maybe you want the coffee to be good. But then also you're inherently like, not only do you have a lot of things you need to look for, but you also are inherently going to like spend a little money because you're at like a coffee shop. So you're at least going to get a coffee. Maybe you get hungry, get a sandwich or something. But it has that whole loop. And we found some spots that are okay. But I feel like nothing is better than the library. The library also creates that context of, you know how some people, like one of the reasons I think some people, whether they know it or not, end up pursuing like additional degrees. Again, not everyone that does it. But I do think there's some people where they're like, I feel like I can only thrive under a school setting and I can only find success in school. And like, I want almost like the dopamine of like the structure, the process and all of that. I feel like the library kind of creates that effect of like, I'm transported to a time when I was really focused when I was in college and I would go to my library and I would go in and get my work done. And it's like, you can just do that without like having that other angle to it. And again, that's not everyone's reason for like getting additional schooling, but I do think some people like, that's part of why people like school. I mean, it's something I liked about school, like having it all set up and it's like, you do these things and then it's good. It's like, and I think the struggle of living outside of that is having to make that for yourself. And I feel like our library trips are us making that. And it's been really nice. I love the library. I mean, I want to go to more libraries just to check out like different vibes of stuff, but we mostly just hit our local one and call it a day there. Yeah.
There's also just like on that note, just like cool designs and you know, architecture and stuff you could find. So yeah, team library. Two final ones. And this is kind of a cop out. I'm gonna go PlayStation for me personally. This is a set in stone. Kind of similar to Apple. It's like there's so many good like games and stories and gameplay and this and that it's like the controller. I love the feel of a DualShock. It like I like Xbox too, right? The asymmetrical sticks and everything. But there's something about just like how a DualShock feels that it just perfect size for my big meaty claws. That it just works. It fits. The games are great. Things would have to change dramatically for me to be like, I'm off PlayStation and onto something else.
Yeah.
And then last one, California.
I thought you might have this one down.
Yeah. For a while. I do bounce back between where in California particularly, right? I love originally was in the Bay Area. I love the Bay. It's the perfect temperature. It's very, very expensive, and the travel could sometimes be a lot, but you know, still love it. Down here now we're in LA. LA's great. Love the vibe, love the area. Tons of stuff going on here. Loves like a lot of industry here, which is dope. But also played around with the idea of like San Diego. San Diego's also nice. There's, you know, Comic-Con down there. There's all the water and the weather and the, you know, every food there is amazing. So I don't know where we'll necessarily plant roots, but I have to imagine it'll be somewhere in California.
I agree. I mean, there's always the siren's call of like the East Coast in the sense that like New York City was really cool. Like us visiting New York, I'm like, oh my God, I love it here. Like I loved it, but I'm like, I don't want it to be cold. But I'm like, I know why Spider-Man's here. Like I understood. Like it made sense. I was like, this is a great place to be, of course. But yeah, it's so cold out there that I think I wouldn't move out there unless something was like super specific, like some type of job that was also like really good and also in person and also in New York. Like it's like I don't really even know what that job would be.
The stars would have to align.
If it even exists, because I don't know if I really want to be like moving around specifically for work like that far out. But yeah, I'm also pretty set on California. It's great out here. I love it out here. It just has great weather, great vibe, lots of like different things. I think in terms of like shopping and living and like kind of doing those things, but also like nature. Like the way that you can like get some nature out here is great. And I know there's like spots that are like Pacific Northwest is like very like known for its like nature offerings, but And I think with LA, it's at like a nice spot where it's like, it's not that far to get to San Francisco, not that far to get to San Diego. Even Vegas is like pretty close. Like there's a lot. You get all of what you get already, but then you also get so much of the surrounding. And I think in terms of general area, nothing has as much to offer as California holistically. Even looking at the East Coast, and I know there's other spots besides like New York City, but
when you think
it's
East Coast,
not, like you think like there's not that much else that like pops for me personally. I think too, like when it comes to stuff set in stone, I think one reason that I don't have more stuff is because like I'm just always looking for like that next thing. I think too, like you spend a lot of time doing intense research, and I have like quick hits of research. Like I'm not like, this is going to be my one thing, the end. I think also I always like to check back in on certain things. Like I mentioned running before, like, and I'm set in stone with running, but even as far as shoes, I usually do still like shop around a little bit just to see like, because your feet change also. Like my shoe size like changed in running shoes for some reason, even though I'm like, did my foot get bigger? Like I don't understand what happened. But you know, stuff's a little different. Like I'm always double checking that, like the stride, if you have different injuries, and like sometimes you just like want maybe like different cushion like than you did before, or a new brand comes out and you're like trying out that brand. Like I usually do hit up Brooks and Asics are like my main ones, but like I still will try like pretty much everything, even though I'm mostly like doing like the Brooks Ravena, the Brooks Ghost or whatever. But yeah, and I'm like, I don't know, always still intermixing different stuff. So I don't think I'm as set in stone as I'd like to be in a way, but also like that's something I've liked about getting older. Like I feel like certain things I'm like done. It's like, okay, I found this thing. I'm using this thing. Yeah. The end. But yeah, even within that, I still like to experiment and try other stuff. So it's hard for me to like fully be locked in. Like I feel like I have eras. Like right now, like with like products like on the wall in the video version, I have like my Coach bag. Love Coach. But like, am I going to be coached out forever? Like probably not. Like I'd like to find other brands that I really like, but this is like one I'm gravitating to like right now. Yeah. But that's just like a now.
I think even then, like, you know, in tech and fashion are very, I think, similar in this degree, where it's like so many things come in and out of style so quickly that you almost can't be too set in stone, if else you'll just like fall behind or fall out of style or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you have to fall like, and I don't know if tech is maybe kind of similar, but for fashion, the thing I've been trying to like develop and latch onto is like forming something that exists outside of all of that. Like I think trends are fun to play with and like experiment with. But it's like, what is your personal style, though, that isn't just like a singular trend or maybe even necessarily archetype? I know some people do have very like archetypal style where they're like, oh, I do like monochromatic, or I do like streetwear exclusively, or I'm always blending these things, but trying to like acknowledge it, but exist outside of it and like having an eye for that. I feel like it's like that next level, but you know, something to work on because I'm still figuring that stuff out.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, that's it for this week. You can send us your questions and topics to the email inbox@gamesandnotgames.com. You can follow the podcast version of the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, and everywhere you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to give us that 5-star rating.
Yeah. And if you're an audio listener, remember you could always also catch the video version over on YouTube at Games and Not Games, where you can catch nice little video overlays and maybe some nice visual elements to the show as well. Like this here, which I don't know yet what I'll put, but something. On top of that, also you can follow us on social media, or on Twitter at Games and Not. Everywhere else we're Games and Not Games. That's Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, etc. And speaking of socials, one thing we want to start doing is a poll of the show segment. So for this week, this will be something that you can go over to our Twitter. Again, that's Games and Not on Twitter, and vote in the poll. This episode's poll is going to be, what's your favorite Oceans movie in the franchise?
Well, are we doing favorite or best?
Ooh, let's do best. Okay. I guess what's the best movie in the Oceans franchise? Options are Oceans 11, Oceans 12, Oceans 13, and then the most recent Oceans 8. Sound off in the poll. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
We're all done. Gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
Peace.